So back in 2021, I was arrested by ATF. That was my first federal bid. And what ended up happening was I was providing somebody with firearms. And not just one or two firearms, I was providing somebody with multiple firearms. Two actually landed up in CT and one was found at a homicide, one was found at some sort of criminal complaint. I'm not sure what it was, but come to find out, 14 of the guns that I got charged with was actually a woman's guns that she did for this same man. But she rolled over. She had a kid. She also had a coke problem. So what ended up happening was the feds came to me, asked me what I knew, said if I told them everything that they would let me go. Well, that has never, ever been the case ever with state, with anything that I've ever encountered with any type of police department whatsoever. So I stuck to my guns and I shut my mouth. I made up some stories, and next thing you know, I found out that they're talking to her. Well, all in all, I end up with time, she ended up with no time, the other guy ended up with time, and we all fell into this big, large conspiracy. The paper made it look really crazy. It wasn't as crazy as it looked. We weren't going through this huge process of, transporting firearms this way and that way. We just had one way of doing it. I got the firearms for somebody, and they brought them up here. Well, it got to the point where once ATF hit, I ended up trying to contact this man and telling him, ATF is knocking at my door. He wanted nothing to do with me. He turned his whole back on me. Once he turned his whole back on me, now I knew something was wrong. I felt some type of way. Well, a couple months down the road, ATF's knocking on his door. Now, not because of me, but because he was dealing with some female down there that I told him not to, and he did anyway. So once he started dealing with this female, she rolled over on all of us. Every one of us went to jail except for her. So my wife ended up getting arrested, I got arrested. I remember seeing the ATF sitting outside my house one morning after dropping my kids off at work, and I called my son up and I said, listen, I hope I'm bugging right now, but there is two white boys in a brand new vehicle sitting in front of the neighbor's house. And I lived in a black community. So I knew something was up. And they were sitting on the opposite side of the road. So they can just pull off when I pull out of the driveway. Well, I hung up with my son. I noticed what was going on. I tried to keep everything away from my house. So what I did was I took everything that I needed to take, and I pulled out of my driveway and I pulled towards them and I hit the gas. And once I hit the gas, I flew all the way down past Lockmore, down in South Carolina, and all the way to the one stop. I pulled into the one stop because after that was Fort Jackson territory. Now I'm dealing with military police if I go any further. Next thing you know, the whole street was completely covered in police. I'm talking about ATF, South Carolina Federal Department. Now each state has their own federal agency. I didn't know this. I thought feds was feds, but it's not. I actually got kind of lucky that I was arrested by Connecticut federal system, because if I was arrested by South Carolina federal system, I would have been doing way more time. So my wife was able to get released, even though they came to the house with the battering ram and their ARs pulled out right in front of my neighborhood, made me look crazy. They laid me down in front of the barber shop, and that's where everybody hung out, was at that barber shop. So I get back to the house behind the cop, inside the ATF vehicle, and I'm telling them, listen, do not shoot my dog, And my dumbass dog is over there playing with them motherfuckers. I'm like, shit, I thought she was gonna get shot. Oh, she didn't get shot, she was playing with these fucking these cops. So, anyway, I end up going through the whole extradition situation. They extradited me. I sat in South Carolina probably for about 4 months. And I did time in Columbia, I did time in Leesburg. And then finally they moved me. And I thought I was going to somewhere better, because when you go up the way, you go to somewhere better. Well, I didn't go up the way. I went to Oklahoma. And Oklahoma on Con Air is horrible. Horrible. I mean, there's people in there beating each other down with broomsticks. I seen somebody get beat down with a broomstick so hard that the broomstick exploded. It was a fiberglass broomstick. Blood gushing everywhere. Next thing you know, everybody's mopping this blood up like it was a UFC fight. I'm sitting in the corner like, oh shit. Like, what the fuck did I get myself into, right? I still don't know all my charges. I still don't know nothing. I still haven't spoke to an attorney. Well, anyway, they moved me again. I sat through Oklahoma, sat through Con Air. They finally moved me. I finally got to Hotel California, which was Rhode Island. Rhode Island was probably the sweetest federal prison that I've ever been to. You get there, they give you a mattress that's got to be at least 4 inches, 6 inches deep, right? Real mattress. It's got springs in it and everything. I went there. They gave me a pillow. They gave me a radio. Like, I'm not used to this, right? but you can't have a TV. So that was kind of rough. Plus, it was 23-hour lockdown during COVID. So we were stuck in with all immigration. Immigration was actually let out for 1 hour, then we were let out for 1 hour. That was our daily routine every day. So fast forward a little bit, we're looking at, an ice guy with ice cream coming through and frozen pizzas, and I'm like, oh, the feds ain't that bad. Now I'm sitting there for a few months. I don't think I'm coming home. Then I get my indictment in the paper, in the mail. Now I see all of these charges, and these charges, I added up all these charges. It came up to about 65 years. I was devastated. I was devastated. I still didn't talk to no attorney yet. I didn't know what was going on with me, what I was even being charged with. And then I seen the indictment, so I figured I was being charged with everything. But I wasn't. I finally got to talk to the lawyer, and the lawyer said, you're going home on Monday. All you got to do is get through the weekend. I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. She's like, no. She's like, I'm just cautiously optimistic about it. I said, okay, I'm going to trust you. She got me out. I went home on Monday. I was home for almost 3 years. I started going to school for HVAC. Now, I did a lot of what they asked me to do, right? So we have a program out in Connecticut. It's called Federal Support Court. I think there's a couple other states that have things that are like that as well. But this isn't a full get out of jail free card. This is a way to change your mindset and change the way you think about everything. You know what I mean? You journal every week, you go every week, you take urines every week. It's pre-trial probation, it's considered. But that probation doesn't count towards nothing, except for in court. So mind you, I'm home for that long. I started a nonprofit foundation. I was going to school. I was doing everything I was supposed to be doing. I had 2 counselors, 2 therapists. I was doing everything right. There was nothing you couldn't say bad about me. I got pictures of me and the main judge in the state of Connecticut shaking hands, and my probation officer hugging me. That's how well I did. Now, we fast forward a little bit. I finish up everything during this support court. I was asked to do another program. It was called Restorative Justice. This was an optional program. Now, support court was told to me first, before we go any further, was told to me first about, from my attorneys, because they said, listen, you're not getting charged with all of that. This is a conspiracy. So there were many other people in the conspiracy that were getting charged. I only fell under certain charges. So I got charged with sale of federal firearm without a federal firearms license. I got charged with lying to federal agents, and I think that was the only other charge that I got charged with. Anyway, it was a minimum or a mandatory, or not a mandatory, I'm sorry, I'm lying. It was a maximum of 5 years. They couldn't give me over 5 years. So I'm like, shit, I'm looking at only 2 to 3 years, that's it. Off an 85% bid, if I get 2 years, I'm home in like 18 months, right? That's what I thought. So I'm doing everything right. I completed MCCA. I was volunteering at the food shelter, the food bank. I was volunteering with Habitat for Humanity. I was doing everything you could possibly do because I didn't want to go back to prison. But I was also doing it too because it made me feel better at the end of the day. It was actually something that I wanted to do. Before, I didn't care about nobody else. I didn't give a shit about you. I didn't care about you. If you didn't mess with me, I didn't mess with you. And we weren't cool. That's all it was. We just did not fuck with each other. And if we didn't fuck with each other, guess what? I don't care what happens to you. I don't care if you died. I don't care if you ended up, getting into a car accident. I didn't care about nothing about you if you didn't have nothing to do with my life. So anyway, we're in this program. We're doing this program. It was me and one other white boy. And this other white boy, he had to be about 10 years older than me. We were the only 2 that did not get in trouble the whole entire time, and we were the only 2 that ended up getting sentenced in the end. They let one person go completely on probation, and he went down to South Carolina and ended up killing somebody. So that just goes to show how bad and fucked up our justice system is, right? They're quick to let somebody go because they might think that I'm just pretending or I'm just trying to get over, but that wasn't the case. I was really trying to change. So by the time I hit the feds, I tried to stay on my good boy shit. I really, truly did. I tried to stay on my good boy shit. And the white boys approached me when I got there. There's cars in the federal system. So when you get there, they ask, what you're in for. And you got to tell them what you're in for. You got a certain amount of time to get your paperwork. Now, we were on a semi-active yard. We weren't on a fully active yard. I got lucky, but at the same time, I didn't get lucky, right? Because I would never be anything less than a level 3, right? So I would never be less than a medium. And come to find out, I was actually, everything that I did would not get me any lower, would not get my points lowered. So I tried to do everything from motions to try to get my sentence changed up. That got denied, and that didn't get denied until I hit the halfway house, right? So they didn't even look at my paperwork. They don't even have to make a decision on your motion until they feel like it. And at the end of the day, they don't ever have to. That's how messed up the justice system is, right? So I did my time, and I tried to do it by myself, right? Everybody asked me, what you want, white boy time? What you want, white boy time? No, I'm not on white boy time. I mean, I'm married to a mixed female. Like, how can I be on white boy time? I'm not racist. I'm not part of that thought process. So how am I supposed to do that, right? I said, no, I'm straight lone wolf. I'm on civilian time. I'm on my time. So and they basically told me that I can't do that here. If I do that here, I'm outcasted pretty much. They didn't enforce it like they do at like certain USPs and things like that. And thank God I didn't have to go to one of those, and I got lucky. But I did try to stay on my good boy shit. I did it for my wife. I did it for my father. And everybody kept telling me, all the programs you're doing for nothing. And I said to myself, I said to them, no, I'm not. I'm not doing nothing. I'm not doing this for nothing. I'm doing this for me, and it's going to help. It helps in the state. Why wouldn't it help here? And they kept telling me, no, it don't help here. No matter what you do, you are not getting out of jail until they let you out of jail. Well, time came for me to go home, and I never went home. They looked past me over and over and over again. And it was real shitty there. Like, if I didn't run with the white boys, I was outcasted. They looked at me like I was some sort of sex offender. So I had no choice but to roll with the white boys. Now, we weren't like a super racist, pod or group, but we did stick with the politics as much as possible. But we did do business with a lot of black communities. And like I said, I tried to stay on my good boy shit for a long time. My celly was really into drugs and things like that, and I would like to get him on here to speak at some point, and he said he's willing to. But I got him into actually wanting to make money and get home to his daughter. So even though I was on my good boy shit, I started doing things to where it could have gotten me in trouble, but it helped me survive. I actually came home with a few grand. And that's thanks to only one person, and that wasn't a white boy that helped me do that. That was actually a black dude that helped me do that. And he was one of the coolest black dudes I ever met. He was pretty much the man of the prison. And he knows who I'm talking about. Once you see this video, man, you know who I'm talking about. You on my Facebook, bro. You know I want you on here. You know I want to talk to you. You know I want to interview you, brother. I couldn't thank anybody else but him. Even though it's not something that I wanted to do at first, I would have struggled the entire time. I wasn't getting money every single week. I had to beg people for money. And what I look like begging my wife to send me money when she had to pay for rent, and she had to pay for the car, she had to pay for the dog, she had to pay for all the other bills in the house. So what I did was I started, hustling cigarettes. I was hustling Suboxone, and every once in a while I was hustling meth. And it got me to the point where I needed to be. I mean, people respected me, and I wasn't outcasted anymore. I wasn't, at any point in time did anybody look at me crazy. Everybody knew my charges were fine. I didn't have no crazy charges. I didn't have to rat on nobody. Some people question because of the time that I got, but they don't realize the stuff that I had to do to be able to get my time knocked down to 2 years. I did almost 3 years in support court, which actually helps you get your time knocked down. Then I did a program called Restorative Justice, which is actually started out of Massachusetts, and they made a video of me and shown it at schools. I'm talking about the law office, the Harvard Law Schools. I was given an honorarium while I was incarcerated over this video that I made. I never received it, but I got one, and I didn't receive it was because after my attorney told me that I got the honorarium, a few months later, I guess the lady had quit where she was at, and I was never actually issued it, but I did get an honorarium. I started feeling empathy. I started feeling sympathy for others. I started actually giving a shit about other people. And during this whole time that I was home on pre-trial, I sold so many firearms up here and didn't realize the hurt that I was causing other people, right? Not only was I causing hurt to my own family members, but I was causing hurt to people that I didn't even realize I was causing hurt to, right? So my boy that I got close with in support court, the way I found out, too, was crazy because my probation officer came to the house. She's like, is everything okay with you? I said, yeah, of course. Why? She's like, hey, I need you to sit down real quick. I said, why? What's up? And she's like, yo, Chico died. Now, Chico was one of my homeboys in there. I mean, when I was miserable, and I was miserable a lot, that boy could make you smile at any time. He was my homie through that whole entire time. I mean, after he had passed, I helped with, because he started a Easter egg hunt in Waterbury, and I did it with him the first year. And then he passed the following year. He was murdered. And he was murdered in Waterbury in front of birdies. And it was a gun that killed him. right? So that made me feel some type of way, like, damn, that could have been my firearm that I put out on the street. That could have killed this man. And even though it wasn't, the guilt was still there, if that makes any sense. So I was doing a lot of things to actually give back, especially to the family. I was helping them with food. I would help them with going to his gravesite and decorating his gravesite, cleaning his site up. I was spending almost, man, I don't know, 3, 4, sometimes 5 days out of the week there. It was getting bad because I was drinking while I was there, and I was just drinking and consistently drinking. I was so fucked up because of it. And I held that heavy on my heart, like more than a lot of people think. Even though we didn't know each other but a year, he made such a large impact on my life that, I ended up feeling that I owed this to him and his family. But anyway, we fast forward this, right? I was 2 months away from making it to graduating HVAC. I had no dirty urines. I didn't have nothing bad on my record, not even a speeding ticket. I had literally nothing bad. And I finished up support court. I was one of the only ones in the state of Connecticut that finished up restorative justice, which was a 6-month program, and went through every part of that program. And they ended up still putting me in jail, man. And I didn't expect nothing less. I expected them to still put me in jail. I mean, I didn't have any ratting charges or anything like that on my record, so of course they're gonna put me in prison. I didn't help put anybody else in jail, and that was a big thing for me. I didn't want to help put anybody in jail, so I chose a different route, and these were ways for me to at least get this knocked off of my time. So anyway, at the end of the day, I got only sentenced 2 years out of the 5. I got sentenced 2 years, but they also hit me with 2 years probation. And then they also, you gotta remember, I've been on pretrial probation since 2021, right? It's now 2026, the middle of 2026. That's 5 years, right? So by the time I get off probation, they're gonna get more time out of me than they actually sentenced me to. I think it's kind of fucked up the way they do things, but I mean, I was doing so well. The judge from the state of Connecticut, not my judge, but the judge I was in with support court, he came down to Virginia and he came and he visited me. And like I said, I was in a prison that wasn't that bad because I was supposed to go into the drug program that was in there, and I was on the wait list. But then they told me that I couldn't even go in there. So I was in a prison that I really didn't want to be in because there were transformers everywhere, there were rats everywhere, and it was okayed in the beginning. It wasn't until the end of my bid that they started bringing people from USPs that were high into the politics or high gang members that started cleaning up the yard. So we were locked down on a consistent basis. We were always locked down, always locked down. I remember one time we were locked down. We got locked down because there was a rumor that went around that somebody had brought a firearm into the building, right? Now, we got locked down for, I want to say about 90 days, if I'm not mistaken. It was 90 days, no shower. We were not allowed to come out for a shower or nothing. We were getting bagged lunches every morning, lunch, and night. We did not get no hot food. We actually didn't get no hot food until Thanksgiving. We got lucky and got hot food that night. And what they did with us was so demeaning and fucked up. Like, I even contacted an attorney about it, and nobody would touch it because they're so afraid of the DOC and they're so afraid of the BOP. And it's ridiculous how everybody's so afraid of these people. And at the end of the day, they work for us. They work for us. We need to start actually standing together and fighting against these people and the way they're treating us. Because I can tell you this, it was very cold outside in Virginia at this time, right? And when they finally made it to our pod to rip our pod apart, right? They got a couple cell phones, they got a couple things here and there, nothing big, right? It wasn't like we were doing nothing crazy. And when they took us out of the cell, they had us strip naked in the shower, then throw our boxers on, then put shackles on and handcuffs, and they walked us across the entire compound in just our boxers. And for anybody who thinks that's okay, I mean, think about this, right? You got gay people on the yard, you got sexual predators on the yard, and you got people on the yard that have been sexually assaulted or sexually molested growing up as a kid. So tell me how that even remotely makes the situation okay. We smelled like shit coming out of there. And then when they put us in the little rat cage, right? We're in this little cage. We were nut to butt, elbow to elbow, waiting to go through an x-ray machine. That's all we were doing while they ripped our cells apart. We couldn't wait till it was done. We were begging every single day. I'm talking about, we read so many damn books. There was no more books left to read. We were finding ways to just get fucked up because it was so boring in there. We couldn't make no money. We couldn't do anything. And finally, that shit was over with. After that was over with, everybody's money started coming back in. We were all making money, but obviously, you know, inflation in prison is a motherfucker. So when something like that happens, everything gets expensive. And good thing that, you know, I was locked in with this homeboy that, you know, he took really good care of me, man. And I really do. I do appreciate him very much. And he knows exactly who the fuck he is. And if it wasn't for him, I would have had no money coming home. And I would have struggled in there. And he basically, and he was younger than me, and he took me under his wing, man, and really looked out for me. And he didn't know me from a can of paint. I mean, we met each other out there. That was it. It was nothing. It was, I don't know, maybe it was just something he seen in me and knew that I wasn't a piece of shit. And I just remember all of this going on, right? And my cellie, he had a drug problem. I felt like I have overcome a lot of my drug problems. Even at that time, I would get fucked up here and there, but not like where he would go and get high off of substances that were shit that I wouldn't even touch, you know. And he knew I didn't like it. He knew that I didn't like it. And I don't know if he would want me even talking about it. That's why I'm not bringing up his name. But the fact of the matter is, right, I got him thinking that the money and his family and his kid are much more important than anything else that he was trying to do. And what ended up happening is he got clean. He got into the program, the drug program he was supposed to get into, and got out early. And I'm not trying to take credit for that. I don't want to take credit for that. But it's nice to know that he kind of follows suit, right? He's seen that I was doing well and that I was doing a certain thing and focusing on straight money. I mean, you got to figure a cigarette was $60 in there. For one cigarette, one full Newport 100 was $60, right? Me and him were in there smoking a whole cigarette at a time. I mean, we were smoking all day long. And I'm not even a big cigarette smoker. I just smoked because I couldn't smoke, so I smoked. And, you know, it was just so much better when we were both on the same page, right? We weren't trying to, he never tried to get over on me. He never tried to do anything. And, you know, there was this other dude that was supposedly running the block. And to me, he was a chump. He was really a chump. And, he did some old fuck shit to me, man. We got into a disagreement at the chow hall. He didn't like how I was talking to him. So he got up and he walked away. And I said something, and he's like, shook his head to, come over here. Come over here. I said, all right, whatever. It is what it is. Like, we white boys, like, so I figured we was gonna talk. Like, I didn't think, like, you was gonna try to put your hands on me. So I got back to the dorm. Well, not the dorm, the block. I got back to the block, and I went directly up into his cell. And right when I went into his cell, he starts screaming at the top of his lungs. I mean, to me, you start screaming like that, bro, you trying to call the police. You're trying to call the police, you're trying to have something happen, and you're trying to get your life saved before something bad happens. Now, I fucked with him on a certain level because he was white. That was it, and I had to. So what he did was, he swung on me, and he hit me in the face. Now, usually, I would react. I told him, yo, don't put your fucking hands on me again. That's your only warning. I let it slide. I really did. I let it slide. I felt like a chump because I let it slide. And I let it slide because I just got there and I wanted to go home to my family. That's all I was thinking about. I didn't care about nothing else. A punch in the face, bro, I'll eat that. I don't give a fuck about that. That is nothing to me. He hit like a female anyway. I've been hit harder by other females. So there's for him to swing on me and do that, I was pretty upset. Then he tried to swing on me again. Didn't work out for him that well on the second round. So once he swung at me again, I ducked. And when I ducked, I came back up and I grabbed him and I slammed him up against the locker and I picked him up and I slammed him on the ground. And as I slammed him on the ground, we slid and I pushed my foot up against the wall and I slid him all the way to fuck under the bunk. Now, I tried to tell him over and over again, I did not want to fight. I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight. Like, bro, it's not that I can't fight. It's not that I'm scared of you. Like, cause I'm not afraid of nobody. I don't give a fuck how big you are or nothing. Like, I've had guns pulled out on me and I've still talked shit. Taken whatever they were trying to say to me, and I just didn't give a fuck. The guns did not scare me. People did not scare me. Nobody scared me. I've been through too much in my life for you to sit there and try to tell me, oh, you gonna beat me up. So what? Okay, if you beat me up, you beat me up. But we'll see if it actually happens. Because I don't feel like it's gonna happen in that manner. You're going through this whole, way of doing stuff and trying to tell me this whole story about how you're gonna beat me up. Bro, then just do it. That was my thought process, right? Just do it then. Just do it. Like, no, I don't want to go to fucking SEG, but at the same time, bro, you're not going to chump me. And it was bad enough that I already let you swing on me one time, bro, and you still thought you got the upper hand. Even though I tossed you under that damn bunk afterward, you still thought you was tough. Afterward, it was funny because he was running the block. It was funny. And he always told everybody nobody's allowed to do drugs, da 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 da. And he's over there smoking Tucci. And now Tucci is, they're pieces of paper that they almost look like you would get acid blotters, right? But they would be sprayed with that fake weed, right? They call it fakey, they call it Tucci, they call it whatever you want to call it, right? And these dudes would act like straight crackheads over this little piece of paper. And this man sat there and started smoking this shit to the point where he was at our table completely nodding out. Now we finally got a vote. You know, he got himself into some shit, got himself kicked out of there. We finally got a vote, and they wanted to vote me in to be first on the floor. And I did not want to be first on the floor. I had a few months left. I'm trying to go home. I don't want to make no decisions for nobody, right? So I threw it out there for my celly to be first. And I'll be a second, you know, I'll be his right-hand man, and I'll help him make decisions. And that's how we did it. And I knew my celly wasn't going to put me in no position to not go home because he knew that I wanted to go home. And he wanted to go home too and see his daughter and see his girl and see his family. So we were thinking the same way. We were more trying to get our money up and making sure that we went home safe with no extra charges. That was the biggest thing. And we got to enjoy ourselves. I'm talking about we were eating good. We were smoking cigarettes left and right. We were getting fucked up left and right, you know, and nothing off of anything hard. We weren't sitting there, you know, sniffing fentanyl and all that other shit. Like, that shit wasn't even around like that. Like, they didn't even want it in the prison like that. Like, and that's the inmates. Because, bro, like, half that shit is killing the inmates. So they don't want it in there. It makes the block too fucking hot. So I'm trying to do what I can to help him out, and he's doing what he can to help me out. And we made it through the entire time, man. And like I said before in that last video, you know, you build a bond with somebody. I still talk to him to this day. And I still talk to the homeboy that, you know, that put me on, man, and gave me some trust and gave me an opportunity. And I don't know if it was out of the goodness of his heart or it was just for him to make extra money, you know, but I don't really care, bro. Because at the end of the day, he helped me out more than anybody did in that prison ever helped me out. Because everybody always wanted something from me. There were so many people that owed me money. By the time I left, I wrote most of that shit off. Some people did send me my money, but the rest of the shit, who cares, bro? I paid my plug off, and that's all that mattered to me. It was not worth my freedom. None of that shit was worth my freedom. I always made sure that I put my family ahead of anything that I was gonna do. So if I thought about doing something real fucking stupid, I made sure I thought about them first. How are they gonna feel if I get more time? And I've seen some shit in this federal system, bro. Like, I'm telling you, there were certified crash outs in there. There were transformers walking around like shit was sweet until the bigger gang members came down from the USPs and started cleaning house. But the air was always so thick, you could cut it with a knife, man. It was so bad that every time I was on the phone with my wife, we were getting locked down. Every single night. Every night we were getting locked down. And you don't know if you're coming out in the morning. That's the scary part, bro. Because you don't know if you're coming out in the morning. Especially if you say you have, I had a Suboxone habit. And not even a crazy Suboxone habit. But they took my medications away from me when I came in. And one of my medications was Klonopin. They would not give that to me. They took that away. So the only thing that helped was the little tiny pieces of Suboxone. And finally, I got on the list for them to actually give me Suboxone. And it sucks because before all of this, I was just smoking weed. I could have got away with just smoking marijuana, and I was fine. But because it was federal, they did not let me smoke weed. And that really fucked me up. I'm taking medications that are narcotics that will end up having you go through withdrawals, that will have you, wanting another, all because you wouldn't let me get me my medical marijuana card because it's not federally legal. And to me, how fucking backwards is that, right? Tell me how backwards that is, that they'd rather have you on some sort of narcotic. You could even be on methadone. But you cannot be on marijuana. So, my first gig was to get to this halfway house, and they jumped my spot so many times, man. They wanted me out. They didn't want me to go out of that prison. They wanted me to EOS that date because I fought my ass off to get into that halfway house. And then when I was at the halfway house is just as fucking corrupt, which is crazy, right? The lady who was one of the women that were running the place I didn't even take, the only passes that I took were my home passes because that was my time with my family. But I wouldn't take a pass to the store. Man, fuck all of that. I would have somebody go get me something if I needed something at the store. Or I would wait until I got my home pass and I made sure that I had it then. She would literally change my time. She would okay my time for a certain amount of time. Say it's from 3 to 5 o'clock in the afternoon, right? She would change my time by like anywhere between 10 and 15 minutes every single time. Every fucking time. And now, we don't always look at those. We don't always look at our schedule right before we leave. We already knew we were okayed and we were accepted. So once we were accepted and okayed, we just went on our merry way. Well, if you didn't check that, that could be your ass and right back in prison again. And it was the same thing. I was talking to my wife, and when I talk, I swear a lot, right? I try to keep my swearing down only for social media, but I swear a lot when I talk. So I'm telling my wife, I just got back from the dentist, I'm telling her the story. I'm walking by this lady's, her office, and she comes out and she says, Josh, is everything all right? I said, yeah, why? She said, oh, I wasn't sure because, you're swearing an awful lot. Bitch, I'm a grown fucking man. Who are you to tell me that I can't swear? That I can't swear when I speak? Now, I had such a hatred for this lady. It made my time there miserable. Not only that, one of my roommates there was a young boy. He was getting in all types of shit, and it was coming into my house. So every time he did some dumb shit, it would come into my house, get my shit shook down, and he was hiding shit even in the bathroom, which is a common area in our bedroom. That means if they found it, we all go down. And what do you say to that, right? Without telling, what do you say to that? If you can answer me that in the comments, I'd really like to know, because there's no other explanation for it. So I ended up missing something, and it was a cell phone. It was an iPhone. And I ended up going and bringing it to his attention because all of a sudden he got an iPhone, and it's a red iPhone, and they were just, it was the same year, same type, same model, everything was the same. The only thing is his had a crack in it, mine didn't. So what I thought I did was I dropped this phone and he took it, right? And I didn't say that at first because you don't point the finger at somebody unless you're 100% sure. So what I did was I asked him, I said, bro, yo, where'd you get the iPhone, And he said, oh, my girl dropped it off to me, blah, blah, blah. So I went with that for a few minutes, but I'm sitting there and I'm stewing. And this is a young kid, man. And I'm like, damn, I'm going to say something to him and he's going to fly off the handle. And then I'm going to have to show him, I'm going to have to show him why he shouldn't be flying off the handle. And then next thing you know, I'm back in prison. Well, anyway, I made him mad enough to where he wanted to move out of that room, which it worked way better that way. Because I didn't want to go back to that facility. I really didn't. I mean, the cops were horrible to us. Medical was horrible to us. I mean, there were cops. There was a cop there. He wouldn't let you eat. He would not let you eat if you had a pair of pants that were altered. So he would make you go to the area that they give you new pants, which it wasn't R&D. It was a place where they actually made the pants. You would get new pants. They would give them to you 10 times too big. And then if you tried to go eat, he would tell you no and send you back to the dorm or the block, whatever you want to call it. So I was watching all of this go down. And trust me, I tried contacting attorneys. There wasn't one fucking attorney who wanted to touch that case, man. I tried doing everything I possibly could to sue the halfway house, to sue DOC, I even graduated a 400-hour class in there. I was really trying to do my best, but at the same time, I had to do negative things to get anything that I wanted. So if I wanted to be comfortable, I had to do negative things to do that. Otherwise, I'm sitting there uncomfortable and begging my father or somebody for money. Now, these cops were so bad that I would watch these cops from my cell, and they would have dudes lined up in the rec yard. And one dude, he was patting his pockets, and he literally ripped his whole pocket off his pants and then said, keep it moving. Why? All because he turned his head to the left a little bit. And then he slammed the dude's face back towards the concrete wall and ripped his pocket right off and handed it to him. That's, to me, that is just so fucking disrespectful. There's so much more different ways you can handle a situation like that, and they chose not to. But I'm here to tell you, man, no matter what y'all are doing out there, it doesn't matter what it is. I don't give a fuck how much money it's bringing you in. At the end of the day, if it's illegal money, that money is going to end up going to lawyers, bonds, everything else that you do not want to pay for. So what is the point of it? You getting it all taken anyway, and then you coming home and you back in the mud again. but then scream that you're oppressed. No, fuck that. Stop using that as an excuse. You're not oppressed. You can do whatever you want to do. It doesn't matter what it is. But you don't want to be out there killing nobody. You don't want to catch a bid, a whole lifetime bid at the age of 13 or at the age of 14, joining these gangs. Like, and trust me, I played in the gang situation. It was not worth it. It made my bid so much harder. So much harder. That's why I didn't run with nobody. It was bad enough when I went to the feds that I had to run in the white car, because I didn't want to try to be a lone wolf, because then now they could check me in thinking that I'm a sex predator or I'm a rat, and they needed to see that I wasn't. So I got them their paperwork, and I went down to the table and slammed my paperwork on the table, and I gave a copy to my cellie to look at. Like, the whole problem with the federal system is they don't care. The people that care, honestly, are the federal judge, and a good amount of them don't give a shit either, right? You got to get the right one. And the same thing with the prosecutors. They're just starting to get on board with this support court thing, man. And this support court thing has helped a lot of people out. It's helped a lot of people out and stay home. And that's really the goal, right? Is to stay home. Who the fuck wants to keep going in and out of jail, being around dick all day long, never getting no pussy, not making none of your own money, and letting everybody else dictate what you do? It's not worth it. None of it was worth it. The only good thing that honestly came out of all my bids, right? I did 5 years in the state. That was my last 5 years. That was the longest one that I did. And all of them were short, 3 years, 2 years, 18 months, or I would sit for a while and then they would let me go. And then they would send me into an inpatient program or some type of detention center. But at the end of the day, if I didn't do the 5 years in state, right, I probably would have never met my wife. And my wife has stuck behind me this entire time with all my baggage, all my craziness, all my psychoticness. She has stuck by me through this entire time. My relapses, me being so fucked up that she couldn't even talk to me sometimes. And she dealt with every part of that. Me even getting her into trouble with this gun case, because she was part of my case. And I had her buying the firearms. And the thing about that is, for her to actually sit there and forgive me enough to the point where she's still stuck by me was very big to me, because there hasn't been a female out there, and all y'all females that have ever been with me, all y'all know, every one of y'all know, y'all either screwed me over, and it doesn't matter if you were my family member or my girlfriend, you've screwed me over, you've not talked to me, or you've cheated on me. And you didn't just cheat, you did some old wild shit, got trains ran on you, did some old fucked up shit, knowing that I was staying faithful the entire time and felt like a simp because of it. Now, because of all that fucked up shit, I'm sitting here like, damn, now I feel some type of way about females. Like, but I've worked on that a lot, and I've tried to, become a different man, and it has worked, because the people that knew me back then know that the way that I talk now and the way that I act now and the things that I want to accomplish now are nothing compared to what I didn't give a fuck about when I was younger. And I didn't care if you were my friend. If I felt you disrespected me or fucked me over in some way, I'm cleaning your whole clock. It did not matter. I ended up doing what I did, came home, met a great girl, and got my life together. And I fucked up because I relapsed. After almost 10 years, I relapsed. And she stuck through me through that as well and got me out of the state. And when she did that, she was going through her own shit. So if I didn't go to prison, I might not have met the love of my life. I might not even become the man that I am today, where I would give you the shirt off my back. But a lot of people take that shit for weakness, and I'm here to tell you right now, don't take something like that for weakness, because that'll put a target on your back. And I'm petty as shit. I'm telling you, I'm one of the most pettiest motherfuckers you will ever meet. So I don't care what you think you got over on me on. I promise you that I'm gonna end up figuring out a way legally to get it back. And I'm gonna get you back 10 times harder than what you thought you got me. Now, I'm gonna end this video because this video is kind of long. It's about an hour long, and I got a lot of chopping up to do with it. But I want to tell you guys, man, like, I've seen a lot since I was 16 years old till even right up to now, and how the justice system works. and they're out there to fuck you. I don't care about the color of your skin, all of that. Oh, it's, it's because I was black shit. It was because I was white shit. It's because I was this different race. No, it's because you're fucking poor. It's because you don't have the money to be up their ass and be part of that elite team to be able to afford the attorneys that you need to keep your ass home. And if you can't do that, get the fuck out the game now. And especially if you can't deal with the consequences. I used to be able to deal with the consequences. I used to take it like a fucking man. But this last bid, it broke me, man. It really broke me. It fucked me up somewhere in my head. And I had PTSD before and I had nightmares before, but now they're so vivid and so fucked up that if I told you, you would worry that something bad was going to happen. But the thing is that it's not something bad is going to happen. I would never hurt anybody, and I would never do anything to put myself back in prison or put myself back in that situation on purpose. Somebody would have to hurt my family for me to go back to jail. And that's the real fucking truth, right? And I would not let my anger get out of control to the point where I end up hurting somebody unless you hurt my wife or my kids. If you, and these are my stepkids. I don't have any biological kids, so I look at these kids as my own. Now, mind you, if I felt that you hurt one of them, that would be the only reason you need to be worried about me. Other than that, I'm doing fine. I have been consistently working. I have been doing nothing but making myself better and trying to better myself. I am so sick and tired of prison. It's not even funny. I can't imagine the people who did the straight bids, right? Like my buddy Big J, man, John Moore. 32 years he did, straight. He didn't get a break like I got. I got some breaks in between and got to, feel that little bit of freedom for a little while until they reeled that rope back in and wrapped it up around my neck and hung me from it. You know what I'm saying? But I couldn't imagine losing my entire life to the system. It's bad enough that I lost half my life to the system by being in and out. And now I look at it like, damn, like, I got a PlayStation 5 sitting over there. I got a 75-inch TV that I'm literally watching myself on right now. And I'm mirroring this whole video. I got money saved up. I'm not rich, but I'm comfortable and well off right now. I'm okay right now. And that's the only thing that I could ask for every single day, is that I'm okay. Other than that, if I have such shit luck that if I ask for any more than that, I will never get it. I will get the complete opposite. But I'm sitting here free watching these kids consistently. I'm watching influencers get murdered. I'm watching influencers become disappeared. I'm seeing children disappear. I'm seeing children killing children. I mean, is that gang, is that name, is that respect really worth it? Because I know in the 90s when I grew up and I was banging and I was playing with the gangs, right? We were about money. Y'all are literally about what's the next body I can get on my belt. And to me, that is the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my entire life. Y'all don't even care about money. Y'all don't even have any, like, the whole point of the whole gangbang was because you didn't feel like you had the family there necessary to keep you on the right path. So what you did was you gangbang, did what they need, and when you needed money, you were able to get money. If you needed a good scoop of money, that was the way to get it. Nowadays, you can't get nothing but a gun from one of these little motherfuckers. They'll give you a gun, and that's it. Like, it's just not worth it. I'm watching a whole generation of kids kill each other. Y'all are wiping your whole generation out. Remember that. Remember that when the next generation come around, because they're going to look at it like, damn, we skipped a whole generation. We skipped a whole fucking generation. We skipped a whole generation because they were killing each other because they were banging streets or they were banging their little gangs. And the whole tough guy thing with me is just not it. It don't work. You could be tough and be quiet. You could be tough and move silently. I don't know, man. It's just the things that I've seen and done while being incarcerated and being out have changed my perspective a lot about prison as a whole. It's something that I don't ever want to experience again. It was fucking horrible. And anybody that was in the feds with me remembers Keith, the guy that was bald that I was downstairs with, man. That dude was the biggest fucking weirdo, and you couldn't touch him. And you know why you couldn't touch him? Because if you fucking touched him, you're going right to the box and you're going somewhere worse. And now you're really fucking feeling it because now you're doing your whole time instead of only 75 or 85%. So I want you guys to really think before y'all do something, man, because prison isn't the way to go. There's different routes. There's different things that y'all could take. And I'm going to keep doing stories for y'all, but I wanted to get that out there a little bit and give you a little knowledge of what I know and what I've seen. I mean, I'm 43 years old and I've been doing this since I was 16 years old. Finally, I was free from the actual facility when I was, 41 years old? 41. Like, I did not want to be turning 40 in prison. I didn't want to be turning 41, 42 in prison. Like, I wanted to be home with my family, and that was it. And I couldn't wait to get there. And I'm finally here, and I'm trying to make the most of it. And anybody can laugh about it, and anybody can say, oh, it was your own fucking fault. Yeah, I already know that. Board of Pardons and Parole told me that a million times. The judge told me that shit a million times. So whatever you say in the comments, all of that shit, this is what I'm doing with it. I'm letting it breeze right off of me because I've heard it so many times that I don't give a shit. I really don't care, right? My main focus is making sure that I got money in my pocket and I can go into a store and buy what the fuck I want when I want to do it and not have to turn my head and wonder if a cop is watching me or if a Fed is watching me, right? It's shit like that that ends up making a make or break situation. So, before y'all do anything stupid, please think about that shit first. Do you really want to do it? Or are you happier as a civilian? Because as a civilian, you can talk to the police and won't know, you don't got to worry about shit, you know. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of scumbag cops out there. There's a lot of scumbag judges and, prosecutors out there trying to get people, man. And I've been one of them they tried to get. But there are a good amount of people in the federal system, federal prosecutors, federal judges, and federal attorneys that are really trying for us. They're really fighting for us. And there's groups and organizations that are really trying to fight for us. So, next time y'all think about doing something stupid, just think about what you don't want to be like. You don't want to be like me, bro. I promise you. You know what I mean? Yes, I've seen a lot of money. Yes, I've seen guns. Yes, I've seen all of that. Yes, I've been plugged in. I don't want that ever again. I don't care. It's not worth it. The headache's not worth it. I'm happy coming home every day. You know what I mean? Like, I might not be the happiest in my job, but I'm happy that I don't got to go to a cell and lock in. I'm happy that I can go to my fridge and get something to eat whenever the fuck I want to do it. My whole mission on speaking about prison is not just going to be about prison stories. It will be about prison stories, and it's going to be. It's also going to be about a nonprofit that I'm trying to put together, which is going to be called Senator Saint Incorporated. I had it before they locked me up for, the couple years that they locked me up for in the feds. But I had it running, and it was going. I was contacting the mayor. I was contacting the youth clubs, the Boys and Girls Clubs. I wanted to go talk. I wanted to speak. I wanted to be motivational. I wanted to help pay for sporting gear that maybe their parents can't afford because they're in low-income housing or a low-income situation. That's where I want my goal to be. I'm going to be putting out merchandise as well. The merchandise is going to be the same thing, Senator Saint. I'm going to have a regular luxury street brand or a regular street brand, and then I'm going to have a luxury street brand. Not everybody's going to be able to afford that, and I understand that, but I'm going to also make sure that I take a little bit of money out of everything that I sell, and it's going to go right back into the nonprofit organization. I don't want to be out there selling drugs anymore. That there's no money in it no more. If any of y'all ever noticed, there's no money in that shit no more. So what did they start doing? Killing each other. It's easier that way, right? You make money quicker, right? You kill them, rob them, there's your money. That's it. Selling drugs, you actually got to work for it. But there's literally no money in crime anymore. There's no money in it. They have taken all of our rights away for everything. They're collecting data on us. There's no way to get away with it. There's no way to do anything like that. So your best bet is to get a job, even if you don't like it, and work on getting something you like doing. Go back to school. Go do whatever it is that you need to do to stay the fuck out of there. Because I promise you don't want to be standing in them chow hall lines watching cockroaches run up the fucking walls right into the where they're serving the food window. Like, you don't want to be dealing with that. You don't want to be dealing with, the politics in there. The politics are fucking outrageous in there. And I don't care if you gangbang or not. Like, at the end of the day, your gang don't got your back. They do not have your back, especially in the feds. What's going to end up happening is that if somebody wants to fight you, their head of that gang is going to go talk to the head of your gang, and they're going to fight you. They're going to get the green light to go fight you, and you guys are going to bang out, and you're going to have no choice but to shake your enemy's hand. Is that something that you really want to do? Because I know that's not what I want to do. I know if I'm getting whooped, and this is for another story, I'm going to tell you the time that I got my ass beat. I'm telling you, I got my ass beat. You know, this is again before I was young, mouthy. I didn't think before I said shit, and I'm ready to fight over a soup, and this man wasn't. And man, I got fucked up. I got fucked up for that shit over a soup, all because I said, I swear on my mama, I'm not scared. You know, I really went, the full extreme to try to fight this kid, man, and I regretted it every day since. But it taught me lessons. It taught me to open my mouth when I needed to. It taught me to shut my mouth when needed to. It also helped me learn how to defend myself, because all these people who are saying, oh, I ain't never lost a fight. Well, you ain't never really been in a fight. You ain't never really been in a real fight. You ain't never been into no fight where, you have 3-4 people coming at you, ready to stomp you out into the ground. You ain't never been through that. You fighting your little brother don't count. You understand? And I was really, really crazy, man. I was really wild inside that pen, or whatever you want to call it, inside that little jail cell. And I always ended up getting into rooms with people that I either knew from the street, or we just got along so well. And our daily thing was roasting each other, man. We roasted each other on the fucking tier. We would roast each other from our cell to the tier. It didn't matter. I mean, even Big John Moore, man, he would be coming through Summers and pushing that, he was a tier man, pushing that, and he'd come through mad looking, just mad as fuck looking. And me and my boy, man, Breeze, my boy, and I knew him from when we were younger, and he was in there on a murder charge for fighting, and he ended up killing somebody on accident. And not with a knife, with his fist. He punched him in the face, and his head hit the fucking floor like a fucking bowling ball. And Big J Moore would be coming through there, and he'd be moving so quickly. All you see was his ponytail flailing back and forth. It was just going. And we had a nickname for him too, and we called him Big Gay J, the Cub Scout leader. And we would scream that shit through the fucking tier. And he would come by our fucking door, yo. And out of every door, he would be miserable until he came to our door. And I love him for that, man. All the fucking shit that we put each other through, and all the fucking nonsense we put each other through, that man, was able to eat some roasting bullshit. We fucked with him hard, and he fucked with us hard. And, at first, I didn't think that man liked me. So I didn't like him because I thought that. And in the end, we became really, really, really close and really good friends. And now he's doing really well, and I'm very happy for him, man. And everybody that I've actually talked to, even from the feds, my boy that looked out for me and took me under his wing, it's too bad he got locked back up. He was moving a little too fast, and I feel bad for him. And I can't wait till he gets home, and hopefully I can get him on the, talking with me, But my boy Dalton, man, my cellmate, and I'm gonna shout your name out, brother, because you deserve it, bro. You work really hard to get where you are, and I've been seeing your pictures, man, and I've been seeing with your daughter, and just living your life the way you need to be living it, bro. And you don't look sick no more, bro. You don't look in bad shape no more. You look like you're doing well, and I'm very proud of you, and I'm happy for you for that. And Big Gay J, man, listen, bro, you've made it, bro. You made it. You really did. After 32 years behind bars, you made it, bro. And I can say that, because I seen where you came from, bro. I seen the stories and the things that people would say to you, even in the comments, like you were lying, man. I was there for most of them stories. At least in the Connecticut facilities, I was there for a lot of them fucking stories. For a good 5 years, I was there for a lot of them stories, man. And I seen it actually happen. But we're home now, and it's time to just do better, because we're moving into a different direction, all of us, and we all need to get on that page. All my ex-cellies, all my friends, everybody that I've spoken to, and anybody who sees this video, man up, stay the fuck out of prison. And seriously, there is nothing better than your own freedom. Even though we're not fully free, we get to do what the fuck we want to do pretty much when we're home. So keep it pushing, man, and I'm going to see y'all on the next video. I just wanted to get a bunch of content out there. I got an hour and 20 minutes in there. I'm going to chop this up a little bit. You're going to get a little bit here and a little bit there and a little bit everywhere. But I want you guys to see, a little bit of what I had to go through in the prison system. And I got many more stories and many more things that, I've done. What I really need to do is remember it all, because like I told others, man, I compartmentalize and I put all of that shit in this little box in my head, and I try to get rid of it, and not think about it, because it really fucked me up. And, I lost two of my uncles while I was incarcerated. I lost a lot while I was locked up, man. Lost a lot. Right before I went in, my baby sister, she overdosed. It's just not worth it, not being able to make it to these things and be around for them when they actually need you. So Even though all the joking that I do and all the fucking around that I do care about people out there, man, and I want to see y'all succeed, you know. So if there's something that you guys are trying to go for it. Don't let shit hold you back. Don't let this life hold you back, because that's what they're gonna do. They're trying to hold you back. They don't want you to succeed, especially if you don't got the money like they got. If you ain't got that elite type money, they don't want to see you succeed. They don't give a fuck about us. They don't care about us. They want us to keep falling in that same recidivism rate and that circling door of going in and out of jail, in and out of jail. And the only thing you can do is prove them wrong, man. Prove them wrong. If they feel that, oh yeah, he's gonna keep getting high, he's gonna keep doing this, he's gonna keep, fuck them. That's how I feel. Fuck every single fucking one of them. There ain't not one of them out there that is worth getting mad over. Just let that shit ride. Let them go do their thing. Because at some point they're gonna need you more than you need them. And I can tell you that right now. So, as somebody who's been in the state, in the federal, has seen some stupid shit, some gay shit, some weird shit, some all types of fucked up shit, I'm telling you right now, prison is not worth it, man. And you can say I'm just preaching to y'all, and you can feel that, you know, oh, you know, well, he did this, he did that, now he wants to redeem. No, man, it's not just redemption. I've tried redemption, and nothing works for me. Still bad shit happens to me on a constant basis. So what it really is I have no choice now. Now I feel like I need to just let out what I have, because it's holding me back. It's holding me back. My story is holding me back because I'm not getting it out there. I feel like if I can get my entire life out there, my entire story out there, somebody's gonna listen. So y'all have a great night. I'm about to go eat. Can't wait to see y'all in the next video. If y'all have any comments, or if y'all want to speak on something, or you want me to speak on something, or you got any questions for me, please don't hesitate to ask, man. I am more than willing to answer any of y'all questions. And I respond. I respond to every single person. I don't have 1 billion followers yet, man. I don't have all these followers and people that love me to, you know, have to respond as much as, you know, the next man. But I can tell you this much, that my time that I do this, I take it seriously. So when I see somebody actually say something, I'm gonna go in there and I'm going to say something back. I will respond to you if you need help with anything, or if you needed to even be pointed in the right direction. Hit me up. You know what I'm saying? I have no problem shooting you my line, man, and you giving me a call. I'll talk to you. I'll big brother you. It doesn't matter, man. I'm there for any of the young boys who need help. That's my mission. That's my mission in life. You know, that's the whole reason. You know, the Sinner the Saint T-shirt is you know, was my outlet. That's my outlet, and that's going to be coming soon too. And like I said, a portion of that is going to go right back into the nonprofit. It's going to go back to the kids to help pay for them the stuff that they want to do. And it's not going to just go to sports. It's going to go to, you know, if they want to do music or whatever the kids want to do. As long as it doesn't have to do with gangs and selling drugs and going to prison, I'm all for it, man. I want to see y'all succeed. I want to see y'all do better, and I think y'all can do better. I don't care what skin color you are. I feel like every single one of you could do better if you just put your mind to it. That's all. All right? Y'all have a great night, and I'll speak to y'all in the next video.